want some water, man?
Yeah.
Here you go.
Yeah, good looking, bro. You been, bro? You been all right?
Yeah, good, man. Just working, being a dad.
Yeah, we know it all too well.
All right.
I want to see if I can get a good angle of this still here. Let me see here. Where can I set this at? I want to see if I can get you in here, too. You know what I mean? Can I set this up somewhere?
Yeah. You can do Instagram Live?
Yeah.
I think I got a thing to hold it. Hold on.
Oh, you do? It might be better. Perfect. But we got to
Set it up.
get this little angle here. See me sitting right here, right? Oh, yeah, perfect. I got one of these up here.
Yeah, so I just, always try to have everything.
You got them. All the what ifs, right?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, it should be good. I don't know if it got you. Let's see. Yeah, it should.
Yeah, that's cool. Oh, yeah, we good.
All right, good to go.
We rolling.
Live from the Rose City Studios in Pasadena, California, it's the What Happens When podcast with your hosts, Gene Van Horn, Just Mike, and G5.
What's up, everybody? This is What Happens When. I'm your host, Gene Van Horn. Welcome back to the world's most dangerous podcast. Real quick, before we get the show started, let me get the sponsors out of the way. This show is brought to you today in part by Vergata Athletica, your most eco-friendly sportswear, athletic wear that's on the market. It's one of the first and only fully green, owner-operated, as well as biodegradable hand wraps for all you weightlifters out there, as well as the shirts are all from a green factory here in the U.S. of A. So vergataathletica.com. Shout out to our sponsor. With me today, a gentleman who needs no introduction, the world around, close friend of mine, owner and operator, and just all around just connoisseur of what he does best, of Fight Academy here in Pasadena, former IFL champion, Savant Young, ladies and gentlemen.
What's up, Gene? How you doing, baby?
Good, man. Good. Doing well. How are you?
Can't complain, man. Just staying busy and keeping trying to be relevant.
I hear that. Me too. So it's good to kind of sit down for a while. It's been a while since we've kind of stopped in when you open up the new you open up the new gym here in on Colorado in Old Town.
Right.
And I stopped by to say congratulations, say what's up.
Yeah,
I always try to show my face when you do the grand openings, because this is what, third place?
I think third, 3, maybe 4.
Dude,
I lost count.
It's probably the most beautiful location.
This is the best place. I'm not gonna lie. We didn't think we'd be able to move into the middle of Old Town Pasadena,
right?
And but God works in mysterious ways, and I'm finding that out day by day.
No, it's a gorgeous facility right in the heart of Old Town Pasadena. Everybody calls it downtown Pasadena. I hate calling it downtown Pasadena.
No, it's Old Town.
Yeah, I'm from here, so we call it Old Town.
Old Town.
So it's a beautiful location right there where the what was it, Ruby's or Johnny
It used
Rockets
to be
or
Jake's.
Jake's, right.
Yeah.
Right. It's across from Equator.
Equator. It's called Edwin Mills now, but it used to be called Equator.
Right.
Most people that from Pasadena probably remember Equator.
Right, exactly. Yeah. It's a gorgeous location downstairs. You got a lot of things working. It's beautiful in there. So a little bit about your background and who you are. I know you're an MMA fighter. Been doing it for 20 plus
MMA
years.
fighting. Competitively, 15 years plus competitively.
Mm-hmm.
As far as just training, I've been doing martial arts since 10 years old. I started doing karate at a park ran program. You know, it was just something that people volunteered to teach to try to keep some of the kids that grew up in that neighborhood. I'm from South Central originally. And it was just an at-risk youth program to try to divert some of the kids' attention to athletics instead of, you know, the typical stuff that was on the street. Yeah. And you know, and to be honest, you know, I get it. I get why some gangbang. I get why some are on the street.
Yeah.
Because I was there. So it's not a situation where you're forced into that. It just kind of becomes you because that's what's around you. And all the people that you grew up with, those are your buddies and friends. So it's kind of hard to deny them your loyalty as a friend when they put a name to your loyalty, you know. So you kind of have to ride with what you got in front of you. But this particular program definitely showed me some other avenues that I could pursue, you know, for myself.
That's dope, man. That's actually kind of how I got into boxing, up here at Villa Park, where we actually met.
Yeah, exactly.
With Fausto, and I'm just kind of trying to keep knuckleheads out of knucklehead activity.
Yeah.
And teaching them, you know, the way of the sweet science.
Yeah.
And yeah, most definitely, man. So you butted it into a huge career where you're now known as the Black Superman.
Yeah.
From what took place at Affliction, right?
Yeah, that
I was at that show.
That kind of just stuck, you know. It Shoney Carter actually is a longtime UFC vet, and he kind of gave me that name. I knocked somebody out with a Superman punch.
Yeah.
And, you know, and he said, yeah, we're going to start calling you the Black Superman.
Yeah,
you know,
Shoney Carter, wow.
And yeah, it was cool to get some respect from that dude. We were real good friends, and, you know, it kind of stuck. And it was one of those punches that kind of got cemented in the history of that punch.
Yeah.
You know, so I said, hey, so be it. If that's how you're going to remember me, you know, let it roll.
Yeah, well, if you Google Superman punch, it comes up in the top videos.
Oh, it does?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
that's cool.
yeah. Especially if you Google, like, Black Superman or something like that. It comes right up.
Okay,
that's
funny.
Yeah, it's a great punch, though.
Yeah,
you nailed it. Also, right now, we're live on Savant's Instagram. It's Instagram.com/Savant
Savant Young,
yeah. So we're live there as well. Shout out to all his Instagram followers.
Yeah.
If you're up there, we can't read your comments because it's kind of far away.
Yeah, we're far, so.
But yeah, thanks for joining us. But a little bit more about your career. It butted into, like, you know, you were in the IFL, which was kind of like huge for the time. It was one of the first television syndicated.
Yeah, it was the IFL, which stood for the International Fight League. What it was team-based mixed martial arts. You could compare it to like a wrestling duel in high school, which is you have a representative from each weight class that represents your team. So we had a featherweight, a lightweight, a welterweight, a light heavy. You know, we went all the way up through all the classes. And the cool thing about it was you knew who you were going to fight right away. It wasn't no guesswork. It wasn't like we need to find an opponent for you. This was, if you were on that team at the lightweight, I knew when we would meet up that we would be fighting. There was no ducking any opponents. You couldn't say, oh, that's not the right fight for me. If you knew you was going to fight the dude that was the number one guy in the division, you know, that's the team you're going against. Just so happened that's how you got to go. So it's like when you know you're about to play against LeBron or Kobe, you got your work cut out. So the IFL was a good platform for me. We were on network television.
Los Angeles Sabres, right? I think
actually, it was a Tokyo team. We actually represented Japan.
Like a light blue team.
Yeah. We represented Japan. Although most of us were from here.
From LA.
We had two guys that were Japanese on the team.
Yeah, you guys won the title.
We got to the semifinals. We didn't win the title, but we were real close.
You got a title in IFL, or was it in WEC?
I got ranked in the top 10.
Top 10, okay.
Yeah, I was ranked number 9 in the world at my weight class.
Right.
Which at the time was 145.
Now WEC was a different kind of venture for you. It was at a time that UFC had kind of stopped the 155 weight division.
That's exactly what it was. Yeah, UFC stopped the 155 class and kind of pushed everybody to go into the WEC. They were going to try to make that their smaller guy show.
Right.
And what happened with that was I think they were kind of spreading themselves a little thin in terms of promotion. There was always the WEC and the UFC, and most people figured the UFC, this was a feeder show.
Yep.
They wanted it to be parallel, but it wasn't.
Right.
So then they just kind of diminished that show and just stayed with the UFC.
Right. That was a crazy time in MMA because it was like, I mean, there was a time where the UFC didn't have women fighters,
right?
Which was weird because that was the time of like Gina Carano and Cyborg was younger.
They were fighting in Strikeforce.
Yeah, they were fighting in Strikeforce, and then Ronda Rousey came all along, and then they moved. I think you competed in Bellator, correct?
That was who my last time fighting was from Bellator.
Right.
Yeah.
So you've been with a bunch of top promotions, a bunch of top talents come out of WEC too, like Benson Henderson, Anthony Pettis, yourself,
Donald Cerrone,
Miguel Torres,
a ton of guys.
Those kind of caliber guys. So you're in there with a good class.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had the pleasure of sharing the ring with you, which I say the pleasure, but it wasn't really pleasure when you were punching me in the face. Yeah. So. We actually worked on a punch that you used in the IFL.
Yeah.
And Fausto and I were super happy. It was a step back right hand.
Oh, yeah.
And you knocked the guy out with it.
Yeah.
And I remember
that was at
feeling
the forum,
that.
actually.
Oh,
Yeah.
I remember feeling that punch myself and was like,
Fausto.
no wonder this guy is knocked out. Yeah.
And I got to, shout out to Fausto, too, man. Fausto right here at Villa Park in Pasadena.
Mm-hmm.
He's always helped me out with my boxing before fights. No matter what I did competitively or whatever level I was at, I was always going to remain true to the community centers and the place where people put in that work in the neighborhood. So I always made it a point to go back and train at those places, even though I was on TV and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
It was cool when kids could, sit and wrap their hands by me or have me help them do their thing or ask me pointers or because as soon as you disconnect from your community and your surroundings, that's when you kind of lose sight of yourself and
who you are.
Yeah,
for sure. I mean, it was definitely cool for me being an amateur at the time, and then kind of like sitting next to you, and I'm like, oh snap! I watched like being a boxer. At that time, people felt like you had to like boxing or you had to like MMA,
right.
Which is weird,
It was weird. It's not like that now, but I get it. It was like that before.
Yeah, I couldn't be a fan of both. Although my wife is like a brown belt in Kempo karate, and I was a boxer, so we were into both. But I was sitting there like, man, it's Savant Young. Like I just watched you fight somebody in the IFL, and then all of a sudden you're in the gym. I'm like, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
So it was a good feeling, and it kind of pushed me to like try to advance my pro career in boxing. But that community aspect is kind of what you're doing now, and that's the whole reason I wanted to link up with you. I read your story on Black Pages, Pasadena.com, PasadenaBlackPages.com.
Yeah.
And I thought it was dope. I'd never even heard of the program that you were doing. Tell us a little bit more about the program.
Well, the program that has been a long time coming, we call it Project Glove Up. And glove up, in a sense, the meaning behind it is, that means we're getting ready to work. At any boxing gym or any fight gym, there's always a point where the coach is going to tell you to glove up. Mm-hmm. And at that point, whatever you're going through, wherever you've been, however your day went, you're getting ready to disperse that at the time you put those gloves on. So what Project Glove Up is it's like a community outreach program for underserved youth in the community. Some like to call it at-risk youth. Me personally, I don't like to call kids at risk. I would like to say they're, unmentored or, they don't have particular, maybe parent activity is not there. Parents may have to work all day where they can't get them to these programs, or like in my case, my parents were away. My parents were incarcerated, so I really didn't grow up with parents around me. So programs like this are being put in place, or this program particularly is being put in place to give kids an outlet and the mentorship they need and the camaraderie they need with kids, in their area. And to be honest, I feel Pasadena hasn't catered enough to the kids in the area. It's kind of like the haves and the have-nots, right? You have it, you got it. If you don't have it, a lot of the local businesses don't really cater to that particular group of kids, and multitude of reasons, right? It could just be they can't afford it, or they don't want to deal with that, or they feel there's no real need to cater to kids that may already be getting in trouble. Kind of just let them go. And that was the case with me. I had some people took me under the wing. I had a coach that took me under and made sure that I didn't get in no trouble. And, and he always knew that I would become something in this field. And, I'm just trying to pay that same energy that I got for it and get out to some other kids that I can help out.
No, that's particularly, that's really dope, man. I was looking at just the whole aspect of what you're doing. You're taking 25 slots at your gym.
Right.
And it's a free program, correct?
Yeah, the program is free. We're taking in 25 kids. We've been promoting it for a while, so I think we may be down to taking in another anywhere from 5 to 10 at this point. It's a 1-year program. Everything is sponsored. The training is sponsored. The equipment we got covered. We're going to be able to feed the kids after the training session on the way home. We're going to try to either have like sack lunches, or I'm going to talk to neighbors, the neighboring restaurants around Pasadena in Old Town to support this.
That's dope.
Yeah, and just get the community on board with each other and get them, to see that if you water it, it'll grow, and everybody needs to kind of take that philosophy and run with it, because if we don't do it, who does it? And if it doesn't get done, we don't get nowhere. So that's always been a passion of mine, is to say, if I could do every bit of what I do for free, I would. If I could support myself and family with that, I would. But of course, business is business, and rent's rent, and whatever else may be. But for this particular program, I've got some really good sponsors on board. And we got it covered for a whole year. It'll be 3 days a week. We're going to be doing this Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 4:30 p.m. pretty much right after kids get out of school. We'll have them at the gym for an hour. They'll train a good hard hour, give them a lunch,
right,
and a pep talk to send them on their way.
That's dope, man. If you're just tuning in, we just got some people tuning in right now. If you're just tuning in, we're sitting with Savant Young, former Bellator fighter, WEC fighter, IFL fighter, in the top 10 in rankings in those divisions, 155-pound professional MMA beat downer guy.
If the money's right, I guess.
His gym is called Fight Academy, Pasadena.
Yes, sir.
It's located on Colorado Boulevard.
Yeah, 36 West Colorado, in the building that was formerly Jake's Billiards.
Formerly Jake's Billiards. So a little bit more about the program. Is it what's the age groups that you're looking for? You got about 10 slots left, right?
Yeah, we got about 10. I'll confirm that later today.
So we're looking anywhere from like 5 to 10 slots left. We'll just call it that.
Exactly. Anywhere from 5 to 10 slots left. It's kind of first come, first serve. A lot of people I put this out to. And, one thing I've learned in my life, that initiative is key to
right.
Whatever you're doing. You got to do it. We didn't get as many people from certain parts of Pasadena that I would have liked to get in. North Pasadena, I'll be blunt.
That's where I'm from.
Yeah, so we wanted to get more kids involved from that area, but I'm open. I got kids, I got a kid coming from Gardena to do this, so if you want to speak on initiative, and desire to do something, I couldn't turn a kid down whose parent was going to bring him from Gardena.
How could you?
Because they wanted to be mentored, and this was a single mom with 5 kids, and, So by all means, I wanted to do that. The age range is 12 to 16. But I'm not going to turn away an 11 or 17-year-old if they really need it.
Right.
And I just felt, for me, that was the most impressionable stage of my life, was 12 to 16.
Right.
I think a lot of things happened transitionally during that time. There's a lot of, possibilities to go either way in that age range.
Yeah, for sure. That's when most kids join gangs.
Typically.
Yeah.
That's what I remembered. I just looked back at my own life and what I was doing at a certain age, and I saw the pattern was there, and I thought this would probably be the best age.
Yeah.
We can get them before it's too bad, or we can bring them back when it's already bad. Right in that range.
Feel free to drink your water. It's a podcast, man.
Okay, just
no sweat. Two guys hanging out, but I did want to promote what you're doing and make this city aware. I do have a good following in that area because that's where I'm from.
Good.
Born and raised in Northwest Pasadena or Altadena-ish, right on that border. You know, where the manors are and all of that. Right around the corners where I grew up. Going to that boys club.
Right.
Right there on Fair Oaks.
Charles
Wright Park.
My kids went there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My kids went there, and
it's a staple of Pasadena, actually.
Staple, exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, they actually, the Boys and Girls Club was the very first place that I went to a year ago talking about this. And there was some interest there, but there was a couple hurdles to get through. I wasn't really familiar with all the logistics. All I knew was I'm trying to bring it to you,
Right.
So there was just a lot of other underlying things that I guess, kind of weeded it out a little bit. If the parents brought the kids, fine. But what I was trying to work out with the Boys and Girls Club was them to bring the kids to the gym.
Right.
Like, I wanted to make that one stop. Bring me 25 kids from here. This is the area we want to.
Right. It's our demographic.
Yeah. Like, you got vans.
Yeah.
Put them in the vans, take them to the gym, bring them back.
And there was a huge problem, or?
Yeah, I mean, for whatever reason.
Red tape.
The red tape. There's always some kind of, HR shit you got to deal with. And I'm just trying to help the kids out, you know what I mean, with all the politics.
Yeah, the crazy part is we talk so much, like, in politics or whatever about the kids and about, serving the community and all of those things. But when somebody's actually trying to take initiative and do something like that, they make it so freaking hard that you're just like, I don't even want to do it anymore.
Right.
Like, it came to the point, I did something similar with the Let the Kids Grow Foundation when I was working with Master P.
Okay.
And it was so tough. We had to move from inner city to, like, San Fernando Valley.
Right.
Where they were like, yeah, come do it over here. It was ridiculous.
But that wasn't your target.
No, we were in Compton. We started off in Compton.
Yeah, where you need to be.
Right.
You know what I mean?
P does a lot of stuff with Compton. Like, he knows the mayor, he knows the councilwoman. He's all about, like, helping in that city. That's where DeMar DeRozan and them came from. Yeah. And he's big in that community. But it was so many hurdles to jump. He just took it to San Fernando Valley.
Right.
And
it flourished there.
Yeah, totally.
Right. So, it was not a total loss.
No, it wasn't.
But in the same sense,
we missed our target demographic initially.
Right.
So we were able to, get people in and bust people in and pick up individuals.
Right.
But as far as the community that we were trying to affect, we were ineffective in doing it because of the politics and the red tape and the stuff that they don't really show you in the reality shows, right?
Yeah, you don't see none of that.
Yeah, so that's really, really good, man. I would love to, reach out to some of my people and see if they have kids in that target range that want to go. My daughter's far away, so it'd be terrible, but we'd rather pay and give it to somebody who could use it. Exactly. Cool. So we're gonna do what we can do to help support you.
And I appreciate that. I shout out to Pasadena Black Pages for sharing it.
Yeah, that was dope.
It was cool.
I would have never even heard about it unless, like, I came to the gym and stopped by. The crazy thing about it is, one of the guys I coached in water polo is now, like, a teacher at your gym.
Yeah. You talking about Nick, right?
Yeah, Nick. Nick Dunn.
Nick's been with me a long time.
Yeah.
He he's one of the, pivotal coaches at the gym now. He's one of those kids that really listened and he allowed himself to kind of follow my lead, and now he's a great coach. He's a great athlete. He understands this game. He's a real good jiu-jitsu player now. And, he's on his way. He's went and, he's just graduated college, and, he's got his kinesiology degree. So he's not only in the field with me, he's supplemented all of what he already knows with, from a scholastic standpoint too, which is some of the red tape you run into, like myself. I don't have a degree myself. I had to create my own fate since I had such a rough upbringing and stuff like that. I didn't finish high school myself. But that didn't stop me from being successful and raising 2 kids and raising a family and
beautiful family,
being an employer. And, so I'm doing all the things that a lot of people spend a lot of money to do. I just kind of went out there and just made my own way.
Yeah, it's a success from scratch kind of story. Where, like you said, both your parents were incarcerated.
Yeah.
You had a lot of things that were saying, yeah, this isn't for you, buddy. Just go get like a regular job and all of that stuff. Do what society's telling you to do, and you continue to push forward.
Do that, or do what society thinks
you're gonna do. Yeah. Exactly.
So
could have went the complete opposite way. You could have been beating people up for money, but for other kind of money.
Absolutely. And that was just not my approach. I've always been one to challenge myself to appear to be a certain way outside, and a lot of people have preconceived ideas about blacks and how we roll and how we do things.
Right.
You guys do this, or you get the you people are like that. So my goal is always to be a representative of black men, for one. I wanted to be a representative of who we are and what we're capable of doing. And I've always wanted to prove the naysayers wrong in a sense of, what I'm doing. I get, till this day, I get people that's surprised that I own the gym, which is, it's shitty to say, like, oh, yeah, I had a lady like, oh, you're the owner? Like, she was surprised.
Yeah. Like I
was surprised too, what I mean? I'm like, oh,
like some little Asian or some little white dude was gonna come out the back.
Right,
yeah. Like, hey,
that's fine.
Yeah.
But don't be surprised that it's me. I don't care who it is. At the end of the day, we got a product for you, and whoever relays that message, you don't question that. So that's part of my goal, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted this program to take off, is so I can get a lot of young kids in the neighborhood, blacks and Latinos, and anybody that's underprivileged, to be mentored by somebody like me who kind of speak their same language, listen to their same music, understand what they're going through. I know how they roll. I got 2 kids of my own. So this is just that platform for me to start something in Pasadena that, we're funded to do this for a year, but soon as it starts, I'm figuring out how to fund it for the following year.
Exactly.
So I need this to be something that rivals the Police Athletic League or any other program that's here in Pasadena. I want to make sure that I got my feet hooked in on this city.
Most definitely. Whatever we can do to help, to push that message forward, as far as sponsorship or whatever, we'll talk about that off air and see what there is going. There was actually a time where you and I had like a moment of like, I wouldn't say an out, but a moment of like, you were doing your thing with Fight Academy originally. And I had like a grappling tournament coming up. And I had just came and like gave a lot of clothes and everything to the kids down there from the clothing company that I was with, Beast Made. And then I wanted to have you out, and it seemed like we weren't understanding each other at the moment. But I never felt like there was any animosity. I just felt like we weren't understanding each other.
Just wrong time. You know? Could more or less probably wrong timing. And all in all, the stresses of business. the stresses of, you got every 30 days, you got somebody breathing on you for a whole lot of money.
Right.
It's been that way for me for, 9 years now,
Yeah.
putting out a pretty decent amount of money every month to function. So I think it was more or less just a timing thing.
No, it happens. And also when you're doing something and you're successful at it, which you were, and you were at the time, it was a big grand opening. Everything was, it seemed right for me in my eyes to be like, hey, this is my guy. We're going to bring him out. But I could see how at the moment you're like, look, he just wants to use my kids, my fan base, the thing that I have, which totally wasn't my intention.
Right.
But it's old news.
Yeah.
And that's why I wanted to bridge the gap as well and just be back in and support what you're doing.
That's why I appreciate that, man. And I think that's a big thing with people in the same community. What you can't ever do is harp on things in the past, right?
Yeah,
for whatever reason, because nobody knows what that person's going through at the time.
Exactly.
So, and that's like a big step for most people to realize that and be able to mention it. You know what I mean? Like to even be like, man, there was a time where I thought this. We need to do that more as people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
as men.
Either one of us could have felt either way about that, right? Either one of us could have said, like, he's just trying to use me. Like, what is he tripping off of? It could have been something.
Absolutely.
But it wasn't. It was just we were both trying to do something, and the timing was incorrect.
Yeah.
Now the time is a little bit better.
It's great time.
I've been established doing this podcast for about a year and a half.
Yeah. I've been catching a few episodes.
Thanks, man. The views are up. I'm starting to use a little bit of my celebrity friend power.
Okay.
And like I had an actor from the new hit show The Oath come in a couple weeks ago, Arlen Escarpeta. Shout out to them because they just got renewed for a second season.
Oh, nice.
So it's 50 Cent show on Crackle. Crackle is Sony's Netflix.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
Right. So he'll be back in here.
Okay.
And I'm sure he'd love to kind of come down and meet the kids
cool.
and just
network.
Whatever we could do to kind of make that project that you got down there go.
Yeah.
I'm all game for, because I'm from that target demographic. I'm from that area.
Yeah.
Like I said, Fausto, if it wasn't for Fausto helping me out at the time he started helping me out, I'd be in way worse shape than I was. And even to this day, Fausto will call me and check on me. How you doing? How's the kids? Good. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Or I'll see him up at.
Fausto. I haven't seen him for a little while.
If you want to catch him, you'll catch him up at Alex's spot, El Patron.
Oh, that's
eating
funny.
up there,
That's
or
funny.
you'll catch him at the gym because he's still at Villa Park.
Right.
And he's always been a great person in the community to have on your team.
He's
a lot of that
guy.
red tape he can help cut because he's been a part of the city for so long.
Right.
I just wanted to get that out of the way. A little bit something else that you're doing. I did see today. You were on Jay Leno's. Just to switch gears a little bit.
Oh yeah.
You were on Jay Leno's garage.
Yeah. I was.
How was that?
That was cool, man. I mean, I've always been into cars. I've always, raced cars and collected cars, Japanese cars, and I just ran into one of Jay's producers at a car show at the Peterson Auto Museum.
Okay.
He showed him some pictures of my car, fell in love with it, brought me on the show. Just, he's a cool dude, man. He's one of the most down-to-earth celebrities I've ran into in terms of after the fact, just reaching out, seeing what's going on. He came to Pasadena to do something at Gorin Brothers, the hat store, which is across the street from the gym.
Right.
He realized where he was, called me. I was at home taking a nap. Be like, man, get up here, man. Come say what's up. So he's been a cool dude to know. And then if anybody is into the car world, Jay Leno is he's like the guy that can just touch you on the shoulders with the blade. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you just get Don, the car guy from Jay Leno.
Yeah, he's that dude,
He's
right?
that dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So Jay Leno, I think, made the value of my car quadruple.
What car was featured on him?
It was my old Mazda. I got a 1973 Mazda.
The gray one.
RX-3. Yeah, the gray one. Today I posted something, it had 1 million views.
Dope.
So that car is probably the most well-known RX-3 worldwide at this point. I mean,
right, it's got to be.
Yeah, a lot of people know about the car, and I went to Australia a couple months ago, and a whole lot of people there threw a party for me, and just because they knew my car, which is from that show, and it was cool, man. And the car community is a lot like the martial arts community. You know, we're all related. Yeah, we're all related. We all got a common vein, you know, that we're about, and we all support each other.
Yeah, that's dope. Being a part of that UFC or MMA family, most people call it UFC. They don't really know that it's MMA. The MMA is a sport.
Yeah, MMA
and UFC is a company.
Is the brand.
Yeah.
People don't know that. I think MMA, the popularity of it grew from the Ultimate Fighter.
Mm-hmm.
Most people didn't really know about it, but once the Ultimate Fighter came about, then it became a household thing.
Which a buddy of yours was on, right?
Yeah. I've had a couple people that I've known.
Well, a mutual friend of ours.
Yeah. And it's springboarded a ton of people's career. You know, it wasn't for me. I mean, I didn't go that route. I kind of worked my way into the bigger shows.
Mm-hmm.
And it did good and bad for some. You know, good in the sense that it got them there, bad in the sense that it got them there, but they didn't really deserve to be there.
Yeah, a buddy of mine is Sam Hoger, right?
Yeah,
so
I know Sam. Yeah.
So Sam is a good friend of mine.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time with him out in Houston.
Yeah, in Texas.
He lives here now.
He's here now. Yeah, I've seen him. I ran into him not too long ago.
He's a big old bear.
Yeah.
He actually choked me out in a yogurt shop one time.
Oh, that's funny. That sound like him.
One of his buddies was fighting on an Anderson Silva card, and he tapped out. And I was saying, you know, that's a punk move, right?
Right.
I was like, I would never, ever tap out. I'd rather
like,
just
let me show you.
Yeah, I'd rather just go to sleep.
Right.
So I turned around to order my yogurt. And he just boom, red naked.
And he like, let's see if you tap or not.
And I just went to sleep. I remember waking up with this gigantic polar bear over me, going, "Hey man, why didn't you tap?" You know, and I'm like, I'm not a tapper.
You lived up there.
Yeah. I'm just not a tapper.
That's
but
funny.
It was hilarious.
Tap or nap.
Oh, they were,
they say.
dude. There was the yogurt store was so freaked out.
Yeah, they thought he killed you.
Yeah.
That's funny.
It was funny. I went out like that, by the way. I was like, oh shoot.
It only takes 8 seconds worth of a choke.
Felt like 3. Yeah. So but he said that the producers on the show kind of made him go the direction of being the bad guy.
Yeah.
But that's not who he is. He's better served being the big jokey guy. He's a funny guy.
You know, TV, man. I mean, you see it now. TV, they want to portray people how they portray them, right?
Right.
So for ratings, you know, you see it. You look at you see your Love and Hip Hops or your you know, your Mob Wives or your
all the ratchet shows.
You know, and me, I'm kind of anti that because I feel what it does is it allows the outside population to come to conclusions as to how certain demographics are.
Yeah, totally.
Based on what they see on TV, you know, and with the media, we already see a ton of negative shit.
Right.
And, you know, you never see stuff like this, you know, like what I'm doing, you know.
Right.
We don't see enough of that being pushed in mainstream media because it's not good ratings.
Right.
Like, oh, we got another young, you know, black male trying to do something for other kids, minority kids in the neighborhood.
Right.
Oh, we're not gonna talk about that.
Nope.
But if I went and, you know, shot one of them, or
You know,
then,
or beat your wife or something,
right,
you know,
right.
something.
Then we got some news. You know, so
then it'd be War Machine all over again.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, that being said, how do you feel about the state of MMA and like with the Conor McGregor era-ish, so to say, where it's funny because he went from being a genius promoter of self to out of hand kind of fast, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you on that. I mean, and that could be brought on by a multitude of things, right? Something you get come up too fast. You stumble into money too quick and don't know how to deal with it.
Right. A lot of money, too.
A lot of money quick. You know, I'm sure, you know, there's some drug involved, you know, with a lot of these guys.
So a lot of people are saying, man.
You know what I mean? So, and that's what happens, right? I mean, when you make it to certain levels, you feel as though you're good, right? So some people venture off into things, and, you know, they do party drugs or whatever because they figure, I'm good. I got all this money. I can party. I can take care of myself for this long no matter if I do this or not.
Right.
So some of them dive into that, and then they start getting in trouble, and then they start to, they have those situations that come about, and then you got to dig your way out of a hole. So,
right.
The state of MMA itself, I'm proud of it. I'm more proud of the fact that I know I had a lot to do with where it's at.
Right.
I see a lot of these coaches or former fighters around my age that are coaching young, up-and-coming athletes, and I know they're good based on me knowing some of their coaches, and I know they're just good people. And I think it's at a point now where it's commercial in a sense, but it's grown to where we can sustain ourselves and live off doing it. So I don't have any problem with it being commercial to the point that former athletes like myself can do it and make a living off doing that.
Yeah.
What I don't like are the opportunists that jump into this sport. You got the Joe Blow dude who decided he don't want to be a realtor no more, and he go open up the little boxing place down the street, but he ain't never threw a fucking punch in his life.
Right, never hit a soul.
Yeah, so I'm anti that, me personally, because I feel we put in the blood, the sweat, the tears,
most
the time.
Definitely.
We've dedicated, we've lost stuff both mentally and physically for this sport.
Literal blood, sweat, and tears.
Literal, only to have somebody capitalize because it's popular.
Right.
So that part of the game I'm not really happy with, but all the other growth, I'm on board. I wish there were more organizations for guys to fight in.
Yeah.
Besides Bellator or the UFC.
Right. It's hard though. It's hard to compete, man.
It's hard.
I actually was part owner of that's how I met Sam Hoger.
Okay.
I was part owner of a small MMA company in Houston called Worldwide Gladiator Championship, WGC, and it was tough. It was tough dealings. Maybe it was the wrong area, but the area is a hotbed. Houston's a hotbed.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
It's a hotbed. We had in-town fighting. We kind of had that feel where people felt like, oh, these are guys who are trying to capitalize on MMA, and I'm like, wait a minute, dude, I've been in boxing forever. Yeah, like what are you guys talking about? I'm part of combat sports. Right. And at the time, I had a huge partnership with one of the number one amateur pro circuits in Vegas, Tough Enough.
Right.
So like, I'm huge with the owner. Like, I've known them for a long time.
Right.
They've been doing it for 20 years.
Yeah, they're a legit amateur organization.
Feeder organization. Ronda Rousey fought there. TJ Dillashaw. Actually, I sponsored TJ Dillashaw with my clothing company.
Yeah.
When he was fighting there.
They've brought a lot of people to the light.
Yeah, Ryan Couture, TJ Dillashaw, Ronda Rousey, freaking. There's so many.
So many.
But and I felt kind of like, what the heck? Like, I felt a little slighted.
I think
but
the thing with that is
we were out of towners too.
Well, not only that, and I think this community has this. If you've done it, you can do it, right? In a sense. Now, some, you have practitioners and you have guys that made their way fighting.
Right.
Most of the community in MMA, they embrace those that done it. They embrace those that they know, oh, that's Savant, or oh, that's Yves Edwards, or oh, that's...
Shout out to Yves Edwards. That's my guy, too.
Yeah, that's my dude.
Yeah.
He's a longtime training partner of mine.
Yeah. He's a legend in the game, too.
He comes to the gym. He actually lives here now. He moved out here.
Dope.
So...
I haven't seen him since I left Fostos and started training at Wildcard.
Okay. Yeah, he's out here now. He was living in Texas for a while.
Yep.
But he's moved... He moved to Eagle Rock.
Dope.
So he's been out here for a little bit now, a couple years now, and he's a good boy of mine, man. So
just good person, man.
Yeah.
Yves is a great dude.
Yeah, and those are the guys that, without question, we support because we know that he's put that. So a lot of times, people in the thick of it, just like I couldn't just say, I'm gonna just do this boxing show.
Right.
That's not my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Like, I can box. I know how to box.
Right.
But I'm not a boxer.
Yeah.
I trade.
And I felt that So we had a pro boxer with us too. I think you remember him, Speedy. Yeah. And I was like, man, we probably needed like a MMA guy. So that's why we got with Sam. Yeah. Sam headlined the first and second event. Okay. We ended up paying that fool like $30,000 or some ridiculous amount of money. Yeah. We had a couple of like bigger names. Derek Lewis.
Oh, I know Derek. Yeah.
So Derek Lewis.
He's in the UFC now.
He's a top contender in the UFC. Yeah. Started in my promotion.
Okay, that's great. He's a funny dude.
Dude, he was. So when I met him though, he was quiet.
Really?
He was 6 months out of prison.
Wow.
So he was 6 months out of prison.
Yeah, so he was just unsocial. He didn't have no social.
Nope.
skills.
He was working. He was like working at the gym and living with his coach at the time, and just needed a shot. I remember going to go meet him.
Right.
And he's got some of the biggest hands in the world.
Oh, yeah, he's a monster, bro.
Dude, his hands are huge. 4X. He wears a 4X glove.
Yeah.
We had to specially make his pair.
Right.
And I remember him looking at me, and he's one of these like people who came from an area where it was rough.
Yep.
And he said, "Look, I don't want to do that anymore. I want to do this. I really want to be in your promotion." So he had no experience. We paid for his license. We paid for everything.
Right. Got him in there.
Let's just do this. Dude, he broke some dude's nose.
Wow.
This guy's name is Nick Mitchell, the guy he beat.
Okay.
Now, Nick Mitchell's a former WWE star. He was in, like, the group called the Spirit Squad, turned MMA, like, blonde-haired white dude, all-American guy. Right. We're in Houston, you know. He's fighting Derek, and Derek's name is the Black Beast.
Yeah,
like,
Black Beast.
That's what they call him.
He's a monster.
So he's fighting Derek the Black Beast Lewis. Yeah. And he's supposed to win. He's already got like 2 or 3, you know, everybody thinks he's going to come blow this kid out.
Like, this guy don't know nothing.
Man, Derek Lewis broke his nose. Yeah. It cost us like $10,000 in insurance money.
To fix it. Oh,
yeah, but it was totally worth it.
Yeah.
Totally worth it.
Game.
Yeah, I have it on video, and I hit Derek on Instagram, and I said, hey, I got your first fight on tape where you broke dude's nose. I'm going to send it to you.
That's cool.
So,
well, I mean, that was a springboard for him.
Man, he fought in our first 2 events.
Yeah,
our first 2 events were his first 2 fights. They were like 7 months apart.
Yeah.
And he was impressive in both times.
He's great. I like him.
There was another dude signed to Strike Force, Chico Young. He was one of Sam's guys.
Sounds familiar.
He was like Sam's golden boy.
Yeah.
Hoger was all about him.
Yeah.
And then he ended up getting signed to Strike Force, and he got beat like 2 or 3 times. I never heard of him again. But he was a great fighter. If he put in the time that Derek Lewis put in, there's no way he wouldn't be fighting for a UFC title right now.
Wow. You know?
Yeah.
That's the story for a whole lot of kids.
Isn't it frustrating?
Yeah, in all kind of sports.
Dude, isn't it frustrating?
Yeah.
When you see a person with all the potential in the world.
Yeah, but they have no backing.
Yeah. Who's your favorite fighter right now in the UFC? Or just MMA period. Who's exciting to watch? Who's a guy you're like, I'm buying that pay-per-view?
It's funny, man. There's so many. There's so many. But if I had to name one person, I know I'm gonna probably make some people mad, but I think Demetrius Johnson, Mighty Mouse.
Mighty Mouse?
I like watching him fight.
For me, watching Mighty Mouse is like watching Floyd Mayweather Jr.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's not always flashy to like the untrained eye.
Yeah.
But he's so good at what he does. You're just like, wow, I'm watching somebody who's 15 times better than the guy he's fighting.
Well, I mean, when you think someone that is hard to beat or unbeatable almost. Everybody's beatable.
Yeah, especially in MMA.
He's really close to unbeatable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he rides that line real close. Like it's going to be a shock to see him lose.
I've never even seen him struggle.
Right. And I mean, so the other thing I'm impressed with him is his ability to stay humble. Mm-hmm. You don't see him out in the news. A lot of people might have said, I love John Jones, and I love John Jones too.
Yeah, me too.
Don't get me wrong. But when you're blessed to be able to do this, there is a capacity of what you have to adhere to and keep yourself in line.
I agree.
And you got kids looking up to you, and you got, you're a mentor. So you really can't you just can't really fuck that off. You know, so
Yeah.
I lose respect for people that do that because not everybody can do it.
Yeah, no, I hear you. It is definitely a privilege, and when you get to that point, you got to set some kind of example and let everybody know. Especially, like, I hate to bring it here, but especially being a black dude in America.
Of course.
Like, if you're a black dude in America and you make it, you have to set a level of, and it sucks that I say that you have to, but I think that you should set some type of level of standard.
Yeah, you just do.
Yeah.
Just because. I mean, we're inadvertently behind in certain things, you know, playing catch up.
Yeah. Which sucks.
Always have to, you know, walk a certain way, talk a certain way, no matter how successful we may be.
Right.
Now, you know, my thing is, I'm not going to try to change anyone, but what I want you to do is just learn how to intermingle with others. That's what this part of this program is for. Also with the kids, is learn how to embrace other people, because everybody has this defense up. Okay. I had somebody that I talked to about the program who was adamant about coming into Old Town Pasadena for whatever reason. And I thought, shit, I'm in Old Town Pasadena every day.
Yeah.
I'm a lot darker than you.
Right.
You know, I don't ever have any issues. I know there's backstories to a lot of people that live in Pasadena. I know there's things that might have happened to one or another person back in the day,
right,
in Pasadena when it comes to police, or, you know, I know
there's
new shit. I get it. Trust me.
Yeah.
I'm not one to say I'm an advocate for every police, because by no means am I an advocate for some of the shit that I see going on.
Right.
You know, but do I think policing is necessary? Of course. You got to have somebody there to mitigate through the shit.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, do we always have the right people in those positions? Absolutely not.
Hell no.
You know what I mean?
No, we don't even have the right people as teachers all the time.
Right. And I think the big issue in that aspect is we don't have enough people that are from the community being those police.
Right.
You got a dude that live in, you know, Huntington Beach, coming to police in Pasadena.
Right. Huntington Beach population of African Americans 7,
right.
and you come in here. Yeah, the demographics way different.
That doesn't work. I'm a firm believer of leaders of that community should come from that community.
For sure. Should
really, like, be part of the fibers of that community to be able to relate to the masses.
For sure.
Not somebody that, oh, you know, I was in the military and I'm from fucking Virginia.
Yeah.
Or
Kentucky.
And they moved me in here. Yeah. And all of a sudden, I'm mad at you because you playing your little Waka Flocka too loud in the car. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
dude.
Nobody gets that.
So a friend of mine is a sheriff.
Okay.
He's from Kentucky.
Yeah. My
wife's Filipino. You met my wife.
Yeah, I met your wife. Yeah.
Right. So she's talking, and I just told this story the other day. She's talking, and we're all at like a dinner at his house, and he looks up with a sincere heart. Now he's a sheriff. On patrol.
Somebody out here
dealing with the population.
Yes.
Looks up and says, "Man, she speaks better English than me, and I was born here."
Right.
His wife turns so red, and my wife's like, "I'm from San Francisco." He's like, "That's what I'm saying."
Right.
Like, you speak better English, and I was born here.
Yeah.
He didn't get
it.
And he told us,
yeah,
if I see a black dude driving a certain kind of car, I'm going to pull him over, and I'm going to look for weed because I know I'm going to find it.
Right.
This was back when weed was illegal.
Yes. Now,
and I'm like,
who does that?
Yeah, who does that?
Yeah. Now, wait till you get a call, bro.
Yeah, like, who does that, you know? And that's the type of stuff that you're talking about.
Yes.
And I agree. Especially at the top in the department, in this city. It's got to be somebody from here, somebody who knows, somebody who can drive up the street and know the homeboys that's been there on the block forever.
And what you do to that group is you know what's going on.
Right.
A big part of it is not throwing people in jail. A big
Right.
part of it is knowing your community, knowing the families, learn how to interact with your community
Right.
and the people in it,
Right.
and figure out other means of policing.
Yeah.
It's easy to just lock people up. It's money, you know. At the end of the day, it's all quotas.
You
right?
know it.
There's quotas in place because institutions are privatized now.
Yeah.
So the moment institutions became privatized,
Yep.
it became a business.
A business.
Just
Yeah.
like the pharmaceutical industry is
Or
a
college.
business, or right. So we just got to get away from that, and I'm just trying to do the best I can to give kids an outlet outside of just hanging out.
Right.
Because nothing really good's come from just hanging out. Now, I'm not saying that hanging out is bad.
We all know where it leads.
But if you wanna play the odds a little better,
Yeah.
don't hang out.
Yeah, we know where it leads.
We all know where it leads.
Especially boredom. Boredom leads
Right.
to nonsense.
And I've been there, you know.
Yeah.
I've been there. Trust me. I done did everything under the sun, you know.
Right.
And now I'm just trying to make sure now that I'm, you know, in a different stage of life. I'm a lot older. I got kids that's almost grown. I'm just trying to make sure that I did my part, and I can look back at it and say, what did Savant Young do to leave a mark?
Right.
What did he do? Because everybody talks about shit. Everybody says, oh, if that was me, or
Right.
whoop-de-whoop, and if, you know,
Yeah.
what we need to do is come together and do this.
Right.
And when the we needs to come together thing comes up, it turns into, oh,
I can't make it. I gotta this.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
We get all these other reasons of why you can't,
Yep.
instead of the reasons why you should.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, I'm trying to do it's a little thing. I mean, it's 25 kids. I know this 25 kids ain't gonna change
Man,
the world.
that's a quarter of
I would
100
tell
people.
you. Right. So
That's what it is. A quarter of 100 people.
Maybe 50 kids.
Never know.
We may get it to a point where every kid I take in could be part of this program, and
Yeah.
I relieve the whole part of that of my gym.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
where it's not even a charge for that.
No, not shoot.
And that's my dream, is to be able to just teach kids and bring them in, and it's always because then we can mold them and bring them to the next Floyd Mayweather.
Right.
Everybody like, oh, Floyd. You know, how much longer Floyd gonna be doing this, man?
Not much longer.
Yeah, I mean, Floyd got what, another year, 2, 3?
Maybe.
Right.
He might got another 6 months if he tries to go into MMA.
Yeah, he'll be done after that. He go into MMA. Did you see the rules that they try to put up for the MMA fight?
Yeah, it was terrible.
So
It was terrible.
I'm not on board with that, bro.
Me neither. This is my thing. Okay, one thing about me is play the game fair,
Play
baby.
the game fair.
Play
That's like
fair.
me going into basketball saying I can just run with the ball like football.
Yeah, I can run you over,
I gotta
slam you on the
dribble,
ground.
Man, you gotta this ain't MMA. So
So go play the game fair. He came and fought you with no special boxing rules.
And I gotta give him credit for that.
Yeah.
Conor McGregor, because me as an MMA athlete, I had to side with Conor McGregor. As much as I love boxing,
You got to.
And as much as I love Floyd Mayweather's skill set and what he does in the ring,
Yeah.
I had to ride with Conor McGregor based on the fact that he represented all of us.
Sure.
Now, if given the opportunity to fight Floyd Mayweather in an MMA fight, I would 100% come out of retirement for something like that. For the simple fact that I know I'd whip his ass.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Hands down. Like, no,
That's
don't
not
pay
even a
me.
question.
Don't even pay me if I don't win type fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Not even a question.
not even a question. He would not survive in this.
Here's the difference that I think a person like Conor McGregor. I don't think Floyd should fight Conor McGregor if he goes to MMA, and here's why. It's not just because I think Conor will win.
Right.
I think if you're stupid if you don't think Conor will win, right? I think it's because in boxing, there was a little bit of showmanship. There was a little bit of, I mean, you've been in the ring with boxers.
Yeah.
You know, for a certain,
he
carried him.
Conor all the way.
He put the show on.
100%.
Well, he carried him after that fourth round.
Absolutely.
Because
And
the
said,
first three,
okay.
Conor was like, I'm going to try to do something,
right.
which he did. I respect it. He hit him with a good, solid uppercut.
Yeah.
that would normally floor a man with 4-ounce gloves on. And I know Floyd was hurt from that.
Yes.
So it was a great shot. But there was a point that he carried him through the rest of the fight, and he made it look good. And I don't think the courtesy will be returned from a fighter like McGregor. Right. I don't think he understands the gravity of that type of situation.
No, I don't. Yeah, I agree.
It's like maybe if it was like I don't know. I don't even know. Maybe like a Demetrius Johnson.
Yeah,
some consummate professional.
Something like that. I mean, let him fight a Nate Diaz or somebody. You know,
right? Because Nate will put on a show,
and he'll do MMA.
Yeah,
he'll do whatever it takes to beat a Floyd Mayweather.
Like he choked out Conor McGregor. Yeah.
Nobody thought Conor was gonna lose.
Except me. I won some money on that. I don't bet often.
Did, huh? Okay,
yeah, I don't bet often.
Yeah.
But I knew Nate was coming for the business.
Yeah, I was all on him.
Never met Nate before, but I know them boys come for the business.
They come to fight.
Yeah, they come for the business. They don't care who it is in front of them.
No.
It was great having you here. We're going to wrap it up. We've been on for an hour. It didn't even seem like it.
Not at all.
But we got to do it again. Let's re-go. Where could they sign up? Where could they meet? Where?
You can follow me on Instagram at Savant Young. As far as reaching out for applications, you could email sy@fightacademymma.com.
So sy@fightacademymma.com.
Yes.
For your applications for the
Project Glove Up.
Project Glove Up.
We will send you that application. We're trying to start on May 7th. Mm-hmm. So if anybody reaches out to me today or over the weekend, we'll get the application right back to them. And we want to have these in by middle of next week.
So middle of next week. Wednesday of next week is where he's shooting for as a cutoff date. Yeah. He's got anywhere from 5 to 10 slots
anywhere
left.
From 5 to 10.
12 to 17-year-olds.
Yes.
Or 12 to 16, but
right, exactly.
11 to 17 So it's not out of the question.
The other thing is, I'm probably going to pick a kid from North Pasadena before I pick a kid from, downtown.
I got it. Yeah,
even though I got certain spots available, I'm trying to serve a certain area, so I'm kind of going through those to see who's going to be best suited for this.
So if you're in and around the North Pasadena area, where a lot of our listeners are from, and you have a child 12 to 16 years old,
at your boy.
Come down to Fight Academy. Yes. Bring them down. Let them see the atmosphere. Let them see the professional MMA atmosphere that's going on there, because it's not some amateur gym. Let's get this straight right now, ladies and gentlemen. This is not your mom and dad's karate store. And I'm not saying that because Savant is in the building. I'm saying that because I've been in professional facilities before.
Yeah, we're trying to do some good work.
And it's a great facility. He's got great coaches, and he's just a staple of here now in the community. He's from South Central, but he's now been adopted into the family.
Now. I'm not called Pasadena my home.
So your child will meet the likes of Savant Young, Herb Dean, Yves Edwards,
and a
host of other professional MMA athletes that are not only professionals, they're African American professionals that held in high regard in the sport,
100%.
which is something that's beautiful for them to see themselves. So if you got a kid 12 to 16 in this area, get them down, because he's got a guaranteed spot for them. If they're from North Pasadena, he's going to try to put them in there first. If you reach out to us, I'll refer you to them, but try not to reach out to us. Try to reach out to sy@fightacademymma.com.
And we're going to be cutting it off by Wednesday
of next week.
Yes.
Once again, it was a pleasure to have you in here. Shout out to all. Oh, the battery died.
Yeah, that's fine.
His Instagram followers died. Not died, but his battery died. But the man, the myth, the legend. We got to do it again, man. Just some other topics. Shoot the junk.
No,
maybe
cool,
watch
man.
a UFC fight together and just see how it goes.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right, man. Savant Young for G5 and Just Mike in their absence. We are out of here.
You've been listening to the What Happens When podcast. Tune in next time to find out God knows what.